Hey guys, and welcome to my newest review in my Star Wars series. So I'm gonna do a different kind of review this time around. I normally do film reviews on my channel, but with Star Wars, I love it so much that I try to go a little bit further with it. Today's review is on the newest novel in the new canon, Thrawn. It follows a Chiss warrior who has joined the Imperial Navy and eventually progresses through the ranks to become the first and only non-human to achieve the rank of Grand Admiral. Thrawn became one of the most beloved Star Wars characters because he was not outright evil. He was a brilliant tactician, and those under him followed him out of loyalty, not fear. Thrawn even believed that to defeat an enemy you must know them, not simply their battle tactics, but their history, philosophy, art. He believed that if you studied an enemy's culture, you would find their weaknesses. Thrawn originally fought against the New Republic approximately 5 years after the Empire fell back in Legends, and now he has been brought back into canon by the animated TV show Star Wars Rebels. And now we have a new book just about him. Timothy Zahn, the original creator of Thrawn, returns to give him an origin in the new canon. I'm not going to waste anybody's time, so I will go ahead and say that I fucking love this book. It's absolutely fantastic, a must-buy novel. There wasn't a single thing about this novel that I did not thoroughly enjoy. Thrawn no Rudo, which is actually how you pronounce his full name, is exactly what I wanted, and actually I think I prefer this incarnation over the one from Legends. I was so used to getting snippets of Thrawn from the Thrawn trilogy because he was sharing the spotlight with at least 3 other characters, and I love that this is Thrawn's book. We got more insight into who he is, even got some inner dialogue that show off his deductions and body language interpretations that sent chills up my spine each time, even starting with the first chapter. I was hooked from the first chapter just when it started showing his inner thoughts. And I loved how relatable he was in this novel. In the Thrawn trilogy, he was a bit more of a borderline superhero, with some of his deductions being somewhat outlandish and seemingly coincidental, but I feel like he was a more balanced character in this book. He's highly intelligent, and when he explains his deductions and logic, it makes perfect sense. He felt like a mixture of both Robert Downey Jr.'s and Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock. Just as I said before, Thrawn is a more relatable character in this book, and he seems more like a person with flaws, and I love how they even made the Empire seem relatable. I love how the current canon has been showing off the universe from the point of view of the Imperials, using novels like Lost Stars or Rebels episodes like Through Imperial Eyes. They don't view the Empire as evil, or they themselves may not be evil. They just see them as serving their Empire and the Emperor himself. Of course, I am a Rebel fanboy, but I actually found myself rooting for the Empire as they were fighting to defeat their enemies. And I even rooted against the Rebels, even after it was suggested and said that they were the Rebels, which didn't happen until much later in the novel. Any of the Empire Did Nothing Wrong fans will absolutely love this book, especially for that reason. And though this is Thrawn's book, the story does change from time to time, and it follows 2 other Imperials. The first being Arinda Pryce, the future governor of the planet Lothal, and one of the many antagonists of the Ghost Crew in Star Wars Rebels. While I didn't enjoy her story arc as well as I did Thrawn's, I was surprised that I got hooked as early as I did. But that is nothing negative against those chapters. I was just really excited to get more of Thrawn. The other main character who gets to shine with chapters following their point of view is Eli Vanto. He's an Imperial supply officer who is assigned as Thrawn's aide, simply because he is the only one who can translate things for Thrawn, because they both know a language called Cybisti, and they can both speak it. And also, Thrawn somehow, it's explained that he already knows a little bit of basic because of the people that he's met in the past, but there's still certain words that he can't, that he doesn't know, so he has to tell Eli what the word is, and then it's translated for him, and then he remembers the word as it's translated, because I guess he's got a kind of eidetic memory at that point. But that's beside the point. Let's go back to Eli. He's basically the Dr. Watson to Thrawn's Sherlock. I was very entranced by Eli's story, especially because there was one thing that he and Thrawn had in common and had to face through, and that was racism. Racism in this book is definitely a metaphorical form of antagonist, and both characters have to go through it. In Legends, the Empire is depicted as a xenophobic government oppressing and enslaving alien species, and in the new canon, they've kept up with that tradition. Thrawn's legend in the Legend stories were that he rose through the ranks quickly despite being non-human in an alien-hating empire. This hatred against aliens has been mildly shown in canon before, but not to this level, and I was very happy about this. However, from my knowledge of Legends, I did not see racism between human species. Or sorry, not human species, but between humans from other walks of life. But it is depicted in this novel. Eli is from a sector of the galaxy that's referred to as wild space. It's seen as an underdeveloped section of the galaxy, filled with inhabitants that the majority of the Empire considers low-class citizens. So Eli has to work just as hard as Thrawn to progress in his career. And I loved learning how the social hierarchy was in the Empire. It helped flesh out certain characters and made the universe seem more like a real place. The main antagonist for the novel is an agent with the codename Nightswan, who is a great foil to Thrawn. As I stated earlier, Thrawn is very comparable to Sherlock Holmes, and Nightswan is absolutely, obviously, Thrawn's Moriarty. There are definite echoes of the BBC Sherlock in their relationship, like how Nightswan pretty much taunts Thrawn and invites him to play his game and investigate his crimes. To recap, Thrawn receives a soaring recommendation from me. Whether Rebels was your first introduction to Grand Admiral Thrawn, or you're a fan of the books like Outbound Flight or Heir to the Empire, or even if your first encounter with him will be in this novel or was in this novel, there is so much to like just in this novel. I was very critical of Thrawn's portrayal in Rebels, because he didn't really seem like the Thrawn I grew up with. He was doing more of the rebels would do something and then he'd be like, let them go, I've learned so much from this encounter. He did it too much and I really didn't enjoy it. But this novel gave me the Zahn creation that I hoped for. After this book, I have high hopes that Thrawn will continue to evolve in Season 4 of Rebels, and this book shows that Timothy Zahn is at home when he writes in this universe. I can say without a doubt that Thrawn is in my top 2 of canon novels. It may have actually beat out Lost Stars for me, but I will need to reread Lost Stars in order to decide on that. And before I go, if you're not a big fan of reading actual physical books, and maybe you'd prefer an audiobook, Thrawn is also on Audible, and I read this novel twice. I read it through the hard copy that's behind me, and then I read it through Audible. And this is a wonderful story to experience through an audiobook. And once again, as a hardcore Star Wars fan, I give this book unlimited praise. It is a definite must-own. Anyway, guys, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my review. I was originally going to do a review on Star Wars Rebels, but then when it was announced that the newest season, Season 4, was actually going to be the last season, I decided it's probably best to wait until that season's over before I actually give out my review, just in case the next season actually improves my view on the entire show. But next, I will actually be doing Rogue One. If you'd like to see more Star Wars reviews or watch any of my movie reviews, please check out my channel, and if you haven't already, click on the subscribe button down below. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.